The agreement could come within a matter of days rather than a matter of weeks. So you've got this dichotomous approach from the president, on the one hand threatening obliteration to civilian targets within Iran, which some observers would contend to be a war crime. But on the other hand, what he is saying is, yes, we are talking, the talks are going well, and they could come to fruition before that new deadline I set, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Well, the Speaker of Iran's parliament has also responded to Trump. In a social media post, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf wrote, quote, "Your reckless moves are dragging the United States into a living hell for every single family, and our whole region is going to burn because you insist on following Netanyahu's commands. Make no mistake, you won't gain anything through war crimes." Let's bring in Mohammed Val, who's live for us in Tehran. Mohammed, so Iran standing firm against President Trump's threat to target its power plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. He's also been accusing Washington of potential war crimes. What else have we heard from Iran today?
Oh, that's right. Many Iranian leaders have been expressing the same ideas, particularly over the last 24 hours as that deadline approaches. And we have more statements from the foreign ministry spokesman, Ismail Baghai, aside from what you have mentioned in your intro. He also talked about the foundational principles of Iran's approach and why Iran thinks that it has the right to defend itself in this war and that it is waging a legal war, an existential war. On the other hand, he described the American war as illegal and as a war that is imposed on everyone, and also as a war that is based on a series of lies, including the lie that Iran has been pursuing the production of a nuclear weapon, also that Iran has been presenting an imminent threat to the United States, and also that this war is waged for the liberation of the Iranian people. So basically, the leaders here are reiterating the same thing that they have been saying from day one, that nothing, no threats, no amount of threats by the Americans is going to change the course of action as Iranians have decided on it. And that also the Strait of Hormuz, by the way, the commander of the IRGC said once again that the Strait of Hormuz will not return to the situation that was before the war, and that from now on, it's not only going to be under the control of Iran, but it is also going to be a source of income for Iran. Iran is going to, and this is not his statement today, but they have been saying this many times during the last few days, that Iran is going to impose a new system, a new approach on the Strait of Hormuz, whereby Iran can extract fees from ships that pass through the state to compensate for the loss and the destruction that has been inflicted on the country since the beginning of this war. So they are very clearly adamant that they are not going to change course, they're not going to be intimidated by the threats, and that they can defend themselves also by way of retaliation. They're going to strike back on similar facilities across the region if the power plants in Iran are destroyed by the Americans.
Meanwhile, Mohammed, on the ground, attacks on Iran have continued. We're hearing of attacks in Bushehr province. Now, this is, of course, where the Bushehr nuclear power plant is. So what more can you tell us about those attacks and how serious they are?
Well, just a few moments ago, there were blasts across the capital, particularly the outskirts of the city, the south and the west and the southeast. Big blasts reported by people who be eyewitnesses and so on. We were not aware of specific targets that have been hit, but that has been happening just a while ago. But also we have the longest series of cities today that have been bombarded across the country, particularly in the south. We have Bushehr city, we have Bandar Lenge, we have Kung city, where 6 people were killed and 17 were wounded, according to local sources. Shiraz, Isfahan, Karaj, and also Qom, you have mentioned that. 5 people were killed in Qom, so it's a relentless, ongoing campaign across the country. But most importantly, Bushehr is drawing a lot of attention and a lot of concern because of the fifth strike on Bushehr power plant. That's the only power plant that is functioning in the country. It has a tremendous amount of radioactive material in it. And there are fears, not only Iran, but also in the world, and particularly by the IAEA, that if this plant is, if it is exploded, if it explodes, then it will create a catastrophe, not only Iran, but also across the Gulf region, because it is very close to many of the countries in that region.
OK, thank you for that. Mohammed Val with the very latest from Tehran. Well, the threat of escalation in Iran puts the Gulf region squarely in the crossfire. The sites Iran is threatening to hit back are almost entirely located in GCC countries, which are already coping with daily attacks. Kuwait says it's been hit by a series of drone attacks. Authorities have reported 2 major power and desalination plants were targeted. One of the facilities is in Al Zur, nearly 90 kilometers south of Kuwait City. And another attack hit the Finance Ministry complex, which is a building in central Kuwait City. In Bahrain, Iran targeted an oil facility, sparking several fires there.